If you're in a season of overwhelm right now, I am right there with you. And so today I'm going to share with you a very practical thing that I have implemented this week myself that is a slightly different perspective. If you've been around for a long time, I had the Surviving Mom's Quick Start Guide to Thriving, which I had kind of forgotten about, but isn't a super fantastic guide. And so I will link it below. I'm going to set it up so you can access it again. But I'm taking a slightly different perspective because in one way, like, we are not actually in survival mode right now in one sense. I'm not pregnant, like things are flowing. I don't know, we have full days. And so survival mode doesn't look the same as it has for me in the past of like, I'm in bed all the time. Having said that though, we have just had so many unexpected things come up in the last 2 months. Like every week, there's just been so many different things happening where it's not my physical health all the time. It has been some of the time, but there's also lots of other factors that are taking up emotional bandwidth, mental bandwidth, physical bandwidth. And so we are in a sense in survival mode. And then the other thing is I started out at the beginning of the year really excited about, we didn't know all this was happening in our lives. And so I started out at the beginning of the year really gung-ho to jump into projects and different things that I was working on. And so I said yes to lots of things, which is great.
Hi, I'm Jessica Jackson, and this is the new way to thrive in motherhood by leaning into who you are, what you love, your unique family situation and personal mission to create a life that you actually want to live. I want to invite you to join me in saying no to the life of the exhausted supermom, burnout, victim thinking, being pulled in so many directions, suffering through survival mode, or being lost in motherhood, and say yes to building strong families and moving forward on our greatest goals in order to create a fulfilling life that we are excited to wake up to each day and become a soaring mother. This is the Thriving in Motherhood podcast.
I've been in a really deep exploring phase. I've been taking lots of online courses, reading loads of books, trying different things with my kids, and I love it so much. It's been fantastic for me. And in fact, it's been so good during this time when my body physically is not doing all the things, because instead of being on social media, I'm learning things, which I love. But I'm also getting to the point now where my capacity is continuing to shrink and I can't keep up with all of the ideas. And so, and not just the ideas. I can't keep up with all the ideas. I can't keep up with everything that it takes to run a household. I'm not keeping up with all of the things that are happening outside of our house, the community and the activities for the kids. And so this week, before even more things happened, and I'm like, I can't even believe it, I had this very clear inspiration to write a yes list. Now, this is a flavor, I guess, a twist on one of the things that I share in the Surviving Mom's Quick Start Guide to Thriving, which I actually haven't talked about in a long time. So I'm dusting it off. If you don't have that yet, you're in a hard season, please download that. I wrote that in one of the hardest seasons of my life, and it is very practical and helpful. And I still return to those principles over and over and over again, so you can get that at the link here in the description if you're watching it on YouTube or on podcasts. It'll be also in the show notes. But so this idea came to me because I would say it's starting to feel like survival mode, but it doesn't look like it has for me in the past. I'm not pregnant and in bed 24/7. So what is it? Like, it's survival mode, but like, because tons of things are happening. It's survival mode because exploring we have a lot of exploring and we have life circumstances. So the inspiration came for me to write something called a yes list. Now, I got really excited and thought, I could make it really fancy. No, that's not what I did. I got my planner and I wrote out this list here, a yes list of the things that I have said yes to. And so that looks like a lot of the books that I've been reading. I've said yes to them, and I love these books that I'm reading. They're so fantastic, and I want to take action from them. And so not only am I saying yes to reading the books, which I've been reading books. You saw my list in January. I have an equally long list for February, but I'm wanting to take notes from them, apply them, take actions on them, okay? I have a lot of courses that I'm taking right now. Some of them are very time sensitive. Some of them are not. Lots of, group programs that I'm in. I sell them myself. I want to help you, but I also engage in that a lot myself. And I love learning from other women and people and experts online. And then there's just a lot that I've said yes to in our house. Like, I said yes to feeding our kids every day and myself every day. And we do a lot of that from scratch. And, anyway, I'm actually not going to read you my whole list, but it's decently long. And so then after I wrote my list, I, started going through line by line and saying, okay, and this is straight out of the Made to Soar Next 90 Days program. But to write a list of everything that's happening in your week, and then asking, do I have to be doing this thing? Can I automate it? Can I delete it? Can I delegate it? Do I want to keep it? And this is a watered down version, but still take it and run with it. And then the other question that I have to ask in this specific situation, is this something that I really want to do, but can it wait? Because I need to like push off anything that's not like, I just need to lower the bar for myself, not in my standards, but what is essential. Like I need a much more pared down essential list. And so in that process, I've started doing some things. Let me share some of the things I've done. I started saying no. Like I had committed to singing in our church choir. I love singing in church choir. I can't do that right now. So I apologized and I bowed out of that. So some of them are like commitments I've made to different things I was going to do, and I just have had to stop for my own health. Like my health is in line here. So then books. I have all these great books. And so what I did is I wrote a list of all the books that I've started reading or want to take note from that I haven't, or want to take action on, or want to return to. And I put them into Notion. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's like organizational. It's free. You can use it. I've been using it for a while now. It's been really fun. I'll share more on that later. If you're interested, let me know how I'm organizing my online life that complements the things I do with the planner and the journal. But with that, I put all of these books in there and I added tagged to return to. And so later on, I can return to them, but I returned all of these books to the library. I'm putting them back on the bookshelf. I'm not making it look like I have lots of things for myself to do when it comes to the reading department. And I'm switching to another form of reading. I've decided there's other books that I can read that inspire me in my character and how I want to behave without being a self-help book or something that I want to take action on or apply in a practical manner in improving our garden or whatever. With our garden, I had so many ideas to expand our garden this year. And I bought 2 12 by 2 foot garden boxes to add to our 8 4x8 beds. And I'm really excited about that. I've also started researching berry bushes and fruit trees and I don't know, trying to pull in a medicinal herb garden. We are still absolutely going to start making progress on that. But what I also decided, I was growing like year round and I've stopped. I'm not growing year round right now. I decided it's not all or nothing, but I am going to put the plants in the ground. Like I bought some plants that I'm excited about and I'm going to grow those, and I'm not going to try and do crazy season extension. I'm just going to try and get one good crop right now and we'll see how it goes. But I just needed to reduce the amount of math and calculation I had in my brain in my garden. Our meals. I'm just simplifying our meals. I have created a master list for myself of quick and easy breakfast, lunch, dinners, just like something we always like. I wrote a shopping list for all of those things. I know that we always have those foods in our house. And I'm just going simple. And I'm using that master list to help teach my kids how to make all of those things on there so that anyone can prep food for us. And I don't know. We haven't formally introduced it yet, but I'm planning on introducing like a cooking camp, cooking club, and just have everyone learn how to make all these different things. We've been making progress on a lot of the recipes already, but I'm going to formalize it and we're just going to go for it. I'm reducing, again, just like continuing to remove what we have in our house, what we have in our rooms. Dawn, the minimal mom, talks about having a time will tell bin. And I realized, you know what? I don't have to perfectly sort through everything right now. Like if I just box them up and put it in a time will tell bin, that's good enough. So I'm not doing loads of that, but because a lot of our rooms have been simplified enough that it's just kind of maintenance and putting stuff away where it goes. But there's some spaces where I'm like, we're just going to do this time will tell. We're just going to give ourselves permission to simplify now so that the amount of maintenance in day-to-day is reduced. I've gone through and looked at all of these programs that I'm involved in and figuring out which ones are time sensitive, which ones are not. And can I just shelf those for now? And I've organized, again, this is something I've put in Notion. I've organized all of those with due dates so that I only see what I need to see for the week and I can make progress on those assignments. But just like really narrowing my focus of what is going on there that I've committed to. With homeschool, I am loving what we're doing for homeschooling right now. I'm doing way more together with the kids instead of trying to send them off on all different ways. For things that I've had resistance on, we're just calling it a club. I got this idea from Nicole Schiffler. The idea of clubs from Nicole Schiffler, I'm applying it slightly differently, but basically just this idea of if it's something that I think is important that my kids are struggling to do, we're just saying, hey, we're having math club and we all gather together and we're just doing the same thing. I've got kids in all different ages and I am just putting it at the highest kids level, tailoring it down for the lowest kid, and we're just going for it for now. Like, I just need us to all be able to gather and get something done. Our history, I love Story of the World. We drive, everywhere we go in our town is about 20 to 30 minutes away. And so when we drive somewhere, we're listening to Story of the World. That's how we're getting our history in right now. We do a science experiment at least every Monday, if not twice a week. And we love doing those. But we're doing them all together. And I'm making sure the kids are journaling at night. That's our writing right now. So anyway, just like streamlining our homeschool so that essential things are absolutely happening. And I am the mom I want to be. Like, instead of just being like, get this done, get this done, get this done, I'm like, great, we've done this math club. Let's go outside together. Let's go on a walk together. Just trying to like lean into living a really good, well-rounded, rich life and not make checking off school stuff so important that I'm sacrificing relationships and stress and health and all of those things. But yeah, somehow I feel like because we're in that healthy spot, the learning is happening deeper. Like we just went crazy and checked out every book that possibly exists on the White House at the library and just did a super deep study on the White House. And it was fascinating and fun. And anyway, so just more organic, and what is allowing me to not be stressed and to just really enjoy digging in and learning with my kids. And we're having a great time. But again, simplifying what I'm saying yes to. I'm not saying we're not doing it. We're just putting it into a vein that works for me and my personality, for my kids, their unique personalities. And then I'm trying to get really clear on what matters to us, to our family right now. And even though I'm such a big visionary, trying to narrow that down so much to say what actually matters right now, what's going to move the needle forward in our lives, what can I just let go of and have it disappear. And so that is kind of my personal quest right now, and I'm so grateful. So I've been writing. I'm going to do a separate video on this, but I have committed to writing in the Thriving in Motherhood journal every day for 30 days. I am a week in, and I have been astounded with how much guidance I've had walking me through my everyday life, day to day. Just like every day I have that clarity about what matters. And the thing that mattered on Wednesday this week was cleaning my house. Why? I just felt like it was important so that we had a little stress-free environment, because I felt like something was going to happen. I knew what I thought was going to happen, actually, that was going to come and be stressful. Turned out it wasn't that at all. It was something else entirely. That was a huge disruption and took the entire day yesterday to handle. And it's going to take some more time in the future. But I can see that God's walking with me every day and helping prepare me every day for the things that are coming in our lives. And I'll share more about that later in more detail in another episode when I'm done doing this little personal experiment for myself. But I would say, like, and that's even where this idea for the yes list came from. And so if you're in this hard season, I just highly recommend partnering with God and having him help you see what matters for you in this particular season of your life. Because he knows exactly where you're at. He knows what you can handle. He knows what's coming. He knows how to help prepare you for it. And I am really leaning into that right now because I just don't have control on so many things. And so I'm really leaning into that right now and receiving that help daily. And I hope the same for you. I really do. I believe it's there for us. But I have no other way of navigating life right now except relying more and more on God. So that is how I'm handling seasons of overwhelm. If you're there, highly recommend just writing down on paper everything you've committed to so you can see it clearly and just analyze it, not from an emotional standpoint. Because if you're like me, I hate letting things go. I hate not finishing what I've started. And so for some of these things, I'm like, I'm just pausing. It's okay. It's just a pause. And I can come back to it when I'm ready, when things have settled down. But it's really helpful for me right now to determine what's actually optional, what is actually essential, and separating the two. So I hope you have a good week. I say that every week. At this point, I'm like, it doesn't even matter. This is the phrase that we're holding on to. Come what may and love it. I hope that you can come what may and love it this week, no matter what happens, if there's ups, if there's downs, if you're having a series of time like ours. I hope you can come what may and love it. Have a good week. And I'll talk to you next week.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Thriving in Motherhood journal. This is my go-to tool to completely change how you will experience motherhood. I created it during some really hard seasons in my life to change how I was thinking about my life and to bring more meaning, fulfillment, and joy into the everyday and including the really hard days. This is based in the latest research of positive psychology, high performance habits, cognitive behavioral therapy, gratitude research, as well as some scriptures from the Bible to bring in a spiritual element as well. And as you learn to ask these questions to yourself, it changes how you see your day. It changes what you focus on. And as you change your focus, you will find that you are feeling so much more joy. You can learn more today at thrivinginmotherhoodpodcast.com/journal.
Where you are planted, watch the blossoms grow.